see in the opening the beautiful shots of the island of Madeira. We are here today for the IPC Swimming European Open Championships 2016 in Funchal. It is day 4 heats this morning. All the swimmers trying to make their way into the final session this evening, where the medals will be decided. I'm joined in the commentary position this morning by Giles Long. Morning, Giles.
Good morning, Paul. A fantastic set of heats coming up to decide who will progress to tonight's finals to win races.
The officials making their way out onto the pool deck. We've had 3 days of quality competition. We have had European records, Asian records, world records to enjoy on every day so far, and it looks like we might have some more today. We've got some mouth-watering contests to look forward to and some fantastic swimmers coming up again, and I'm looking forward to, we were talking earlier about some of the big events to come, and one close to your heart, the men's 100 butterfly kicks us off S8.
Absolutely. Well, and also the women's version of that race set to be a very, very tight contest indeed. Men's 100 meters butterfly going to be a tight race. The women's 100 breaststroke SB6, well, watch out for Charlotte Henshaw of Great Britain in that one. And well, in the S13 men's 100 freestyle, we get to see Max and Baraksa go head to head with Ihar Boki. Don't often get to see it.
Absolutely, that is going to be a great one to look forward to. Some more breaststroke events. We have some 50 freestyle events as well towards the end of the program, and also the 100 breaststroke for men and women in the SB14 class, where we saw world records set last week in the British International. I wonder if we can see any world records set tonight in that one, or maybe even this morning. The officials just being welcomed to the pool deck. We have a couple of minutes or so before we start the first event, and we saw the images at the start there of the island of Madeira. Giles, not such a nice day today, a little bit cloudy, a little bit of rain overnight.
A little bit of rain overnight, but it really is an absolutely spectacular island. Very, very rugged. Now there you can see some of the teams. Great Britain, Kazakhstan, that's the Portuguese home team, and the Danish team. Big cheers for every time a Portuguese swimmer enters the water. South Africa made the long trip, looking for qualification for Rio. Later on in the year, the Spanish team, well, they've had an absolutely fantastic meet so far. Sarai Gascon in particular, really churning out gold medal success for them. And well, we have a big screen down here at the swimming pool. And well, there's Charles Rozoy of France getting set for the first event, the men's 100 butterfly S8.
Towering above there. The swimmers, the rest of the swimmers in that heat. Charles Rozoy, of course, the Paralympic champion from London in 2012, and one of these swimmers that will be swimming the one-arm butterfly stroke, Giles, which you yourself was a great exponent of.
Absolutely. Well, we make sure we start precisely here, and as the clock rolls over, 8:59, 54, 55, we're due to start bang on 9 o'clock.
Charles Rozoy goes in the centre lane. He will be the favourite for qualification here. David Carreira from Portugal in lane number 5, second fastest time into this heat, and the Portuguese swimmer will be looking for a good performance here. He had a good swim yesterday from Andrea Sonea in 200 metres individual medley. A lot of these butterfly swimmers, just looking down the line up there, Giles, pretty much all of them have got arm disabilities. They will be using that one-arm butterfly stroke.
Absolutely. Well, good start across this first heat. It's going to be interesting to see how the swimmers pace this. We've seen a lot of very cagey swimming in the heats. Swimmers doing just enough to get through to the finals. Nearly cost Andre Brazil a place in the men's S1050 freestyle last night. But well, this is Charles Rizoy, big man from France, coming into the turn now. 29.74, so fairly comfortable for him. Doing enough to stay out in front of the rest. Onia in lane 3, just at the top of your picture there, and Carrera and Sidnin just the two closer. But well, Charles Rizoy, well, it's a firm pace. I think it's safe to say he's not going to be. It's not going to be that slow from his entry time. 1:03.15.
Charles Rizoy takes that one comfortably ahead of the second place swimmer, which is David Carrera of Portugal, 107.02. And he is just 0.4 of a second ahead of Andreas Onea. There's Charles Rizoy going in there and just planting that arm bang in front of the head, trying to get as much power from the one arm pull stroke that he can. And he finished comfortably ahead of the rest of the field. He has a grip on this European title. He's won it 3 times before, and he'll be one of the favourites to win it again here. But as we look at Heat 2, he will have to finish ahead of the European record holder who goes in this one, and that is Denis Tarasov from lane number 4 from Russia. 2 Russians in the centre lanes. Tarasov won the world title last year. That is the lane 5 swimmer, who is Yevgeny Zimin. Tarasov in lane number 4. The Russian holds that European record in a time of 1:0.75. He's not the best away. A good start there for Niels Mortensen of Denmark, using that underwater very well, the Danish swimmer.
Well, last heat, pretty much every swimmer had an arm disability, much more of a mix in this one. Denis Tarasov, more of a kind of composite disability, which gives him much better all-round balance. You can see his leg kick very much weakened compared to those either side of him, but he does a good job underwater. He's got a nice, languid, flowing butterfly style. Mortensen from Denmark going with him here and going well, and also nearest your camera, Yevgeny Zimin of Russia. Much more of a essay, one-handed style. They come now into the finish. Well, Tarasov's going to do just enough to get through. I don't think it's going to be quicker than Rizoy. It's not. Well, 1:05.43, very, very comfortable indeed for Denis Tarasov. We've seen him look better, haven't we, at this meet? He looks, I mean, he's good, but he's not as good as we've seen him in the past. I think last night in the relay, I think they got a bit of a shock, the Russian team, at just how close particularly the Brazilians had gotten to them. And there, well, he has a bit of a smile. There's the start.
I would expect Denis Tarasov to be significantly faster when they move to the final this evening. That will guarantee qualification for him. That time of 1:05.43, long way outside his best time. And Mortensen from Denmark, well, he's performed extremely well this week with a medal in the 200 meters individual medley. He's 3rd in that heat, just behind Yevgeny Zimin. Tarasov wins that one. He will go into the final in 2nd position, behind the winner of heat number 1, Charles Rizoy. So it'll be Rizoy, the 2 Russians, then Mortensen, then the local man, David Carrera, in 5th position. Well, we had 2 heats of the men's. We now have 1 heat of the women's, and if you are wondering why there is only 1 heat, it's because there's 9 swimmers. They have to go down to 8 swimmers for the final, so the top 8 finishers will progress to that final. And there is the lineup for that one. Pavlova in lane number 0, the Russian swimmer. The outside lane next to her, Stephanie Slater, who had an amazing European Championships back in 2014. Had a fantastic 2014, Stephanie Slater. 7 gold medals at that European Championships. She was ahead of this lady, Katerina Istomina from Ukraine. Pushed her close in the butterfly. There's Sogomonyan, who swam very good individual medley yesterday. Certainly in the opening stages of that individual medley, her butterfly looked very good. And the 2 record breakers, the 2 medalists from the European Championships last time, gold and silver medalists, Stephanie Slater and Katerina Istomina. And the swimmer's just getting set for the start there. Look like the Romanian swimmer in lane number 7. Set on the blocks. Interesting to see though, Stephanie Slater, what she can do here. After a year out with injury, this is her trying to make her comeback in the lead up to Rio.
Well, yeah, very interesting to see what form she's got. She looks smooth at the moment. Nearest to camera there, that's Alessia Vladikina. Stephanie Slater right at the very top of your picture. Looks to be taking it easy. Istomina in the lead, in the centre lane. Very nice one-armed butterfly. In this class, allowed to have uneven shoulders if you're swimming with one arm, but the feet must go up and down together symmetrically in that dolphin kick style. And it's comfortable swimming here from Stephanie Slater at the top of the picture. She's letting Istomina run away with it, but she should be able to see lots of the action across the pool. Vladikina just outside of your shot there, closest to camera. Well, she's going well, but Istomina now coming into the finish pool.
Yeah, Istomina has been medalist at the big championships before, never quite hit the top spot, and she finishes with a time comfortable for her, 1:13.00. Of course, as these swimmers know, they only have to lose one to progress to the final, so the likes of Istomina, the likes of Stephanie Slater, and the likes of Vladikina would be very, very comfortable qualification for them. So we probably can't read too much into what we saw this morning, although Istomina looked pretty comfortable indeed.
Well, she looked pretty comfortable, but she's definitely, you know, she had to work hard for that 1:13 flat. Stephanie Slater over in lane number 1, well, she went 1:24.57, and well, she's got a big smile on her face. She's just poked her tongue out at the coach, and yeah, that was very easy for her indeed. She's not out of breath at all. Now here's that butterfly of Istomina, breathing to the side.
Breathing to her arm side.
Absolutely.
And she is confirmed as the winner of that one and only heat. Sogomonyan in 2nd, Slater in 3rd, Vladikina in 4th position. Looks like the Romanian swimmer Pazdoaka will be the one to miss out on the final. She will be the reserve. And, well, not really much we can tell from that, Giles. I'm sure that a number of those swimmers will go faster tonight. Istomina has been, as I said, very close to the top honours in the past. She has been behind the likes of Jessica Long from the USA and Stephanie Slater from GB in recent years. You see this as a chance of a major event win for her. event. We've talked a lot about the European Championship, of course. We have got events coming up where we'll see non-Europeans taking part. And it is a European Open Championships, of course, so there are open medals up for grabs as well. We'll see the two Brazilians coming up, Andre Brazil and Felipe Rodrigues, in a little while. And they will go up against each other in the 100 meters butterfly, the BS10 class. Not sure if I've seen Felipe Rodrigues swim many 100 butterfly events, but Andre Brazil certainly one of the top swimmers in 100 butterfly. Be interesting to see what Rodrigues does against him today. As the men come out for the next event, which is the SM9 200 meters individual medley. We have two Hungarians in the centre lanes, the two Tamases, Tamas Tóth and Tamas Sors. Tamas Tóth with that entry time of 2:21.46 and 2:23.17 the entry time for Tamas Sors. Both medalists at the European Championships last time. Andrei Kalina, a great Ukrainian swimmer, fantastic breaststroker. Kalina, he is still the European record holder. So 2 heats in this one. We have 6 in the first heat, 7 in the second. So not quite as comfortable qualification for these swimmers as it was in the women's 100 butterfly. So,
well, no, I think they're going to have to at least turn in something decent, because there's not all that much time on the entry sheet separating the quickest from the slowest. Important to go out with a swimming coach would call it a solid paced butterfly. Well, it was actually Samarin in lane 3 who was first to the touch in lane number 3. Leading now on the backstroke in lane number 5, Tamas Sors. And really we should be looking at the two Hungarians in the centre lane, Tamas Tóth and Tamas Sors, to win this heat. Come now on the backstroke and we'll turn into the breaststroke. Quick look over the shoulder there for Tamas Sors. Shouldn't really have to do that. The flags indicate 5 meters to the end, and you should know exactly your stroke count. Well, the lead just switching over now between the two Hungarian swimmers, Paul.
yeah, it's pretty close there. Tamas Tóth having a look across there at Tamas Sors right next to him. Kind of indicating that he is conserving a lot of energy for the final this evening. He's a very good backstroker, Tamas Tóth. Didn't really make much of inroads to the lead of his countrymate on that backstroke leg. He's into the freestyle now. He's a very good sprint freestyler, and he's keeping a close eye on Tamas Sors there. I just wonder, there'll be a little bit of bragging rights between these two here. It's Tamas Sors, just a little bit of a higher turnover there. They're kind of changing pace, aren't they?
Slightly more pressing.
Tamas Sors with that shorter arm than Tamas Tóth. But Tamas Tóth keeping an eye on Tamas Sors. They're all coming in together, stretching for that one is Tamas Tóth. He takes it by half a second in that time of 2:29. So that entry time, as I said, for Tamas Tóth, 2:21, so it's 8 seconds outside that entry time. But those two swims in the 2:29 range should see them through okay.
A slightly odd expression he pulled at the end of the race there as he looked across to his teammate. Sideways breathing style, keeping the body flat. Well, maybe just a little tiny bit of gamesmanship 2:29.29, plays 2:29.87. And Samarin, third fastest, 2:31.42. So we'll get to see the next heat. Federico Morlacchi of Italy, by 4 seconds the fastest on paper. And it'll be interesting to see what the backstroke champion James Crisp of Great Britain can do in lane number 5. Interested to see how they pace this one.
Morlacchi in 4 won the butterfly yesterday. Michelinsakis had a good swim, the Greek swimmer as well. Won a medal in that butterfly event. And it is the Greek swimmer, Michelinsakis, out fast in lane number 3. Morlacchi, real kind of stocky swimmer, isn't he, Giles? Quite small in comparison to some of the competitors in this class, but goodness, he's very, very good. And he's good on all strokes as well, which makes him a great individual medley swimmer. And he's come out very well there on the backstroke there. So it's the two in the centre lanes, in the black caps leading there. Morlacchi out fast, but James Crisp coming back, maybe just edging it at the moment in lane number 5. It's very tight between these two, and Patrick Biskup, the silver medalist from Poland in the backstroke, maybe coming up to challenge for the lead as they get over halfway. In fact, it will be Biskup to go over first, I think, just by 0.2 of a second ahead of Crisp. Morlacchi.
Well, it was good backstroke swimming, as you'd expect from James Crisp. Patrick Biskup, of course, a superb backstroker in his own right, but, well, Biskup on the back to breaststroke turn was just got left by the Italian and the man from Britain. Morlacchi just moving up now on James Crisp, a slightly more powerful breaststroke that he has. Crisp, good breaststroke, but the imbalance in his leg kick always seems to cost him. And come now onto the final leg, the freestyle. And they're up running. Crisp looking across at Morlacchi, and Patrick Biskup, well, he doesn't want to be out of this because he's got a very high turnover, just out of your shot there. The young Polish swimmer, James Crisp, seems to have taken his foot off the gas a bit. And also coming through in lane number 3.
Michelinsakis in lane 3 there. It's going to be 4th or 5th, I think. Morlacchi will take that one. 2:25.01. That is comfortable for the Italian. James Crisp in 2nd place, 2:27.54. It was Biskup who finished strongly there, 2:28.30. And it was Moskovoy from Russia actually in 4th, ahead of Michelinsakis, the Greek swimmer. But individual medley, Giles, you said it before, you see the contrast in all the strokes. And Patrick Biskup, a very strong backstroke, very strong freestyle, but the breaststroke killed him really.
Absolutely, and if you have to have a good breaststroke in, even I suppose someone like Oliver Hind maybe in the SM8 class, you know, we would talk about his breaststroke being his weakest stroke, but it's still very, very good. But Patrick Biskup, yeah, he's imbalanced definitely across the 4 strokes. Well, here's the progression from heats to final.
It was the leading 3 in that 2nd heat, who are the top 3 into the final this evening. It was a little bit faster than the 2 Hungarians in heat number 1. And there's the Irish fans.
Yep.
Out for Ellen Keane coming up very soon. The SM9 classification. And we talked a little while ago about the Spanish having a very successful event. Sarah Gascon on great form, and this young lady on great form as well. Nuria Marquez Soto, European record in the 100 backstroke. and also featuring on the medal podiums butterfly and the 50 freestyle as well. Daniela Jimenez from Argentina, well, she's a very strong competitor, very strong breaststroke swimmer. And then expect her to come back strongly on that breaststroke leg. European record held by Tully Kearney of the UK, and Natalie Dutoy with that incredibly fast world record in this class. But expect Marquez Soto to feature strongly in the first half of this race. Not sure how strong her breaststroke is, but we know that Jimenez has a very strong breaststroke, so watch out for her to come back. But it's pretty flat at the moment, Giles. Marquez Soto maybe just edging ahead slightly as they come to the end of this butterfly leg.
Yeah, well, expect more comfortable swimming as the slowest swimmers get knocked out. Marquez Soto round the wall. She's good round the wall. She's very good in rotation. Very good turn speed. Nice, evenly balanced backstroke. Good roll to the backstroke. Very important to get the roll so that you get the hand into the water, get that elbow bent so that you can really accelerate the hand down the side. And well, she's got a good 2 or 3 meter lead now at least over the rest of the field.
Certainly making the most of those strong strokes at the front of the individual medley. 5 seconds the gap now. Jimenez, I would expect to see her come back on this one. Wozniak from Poland also in contention with the red cap, also a very strong breaststroker as well. And those two swimmers will be trying to make the most of their strong element of the individual medley, and they are coming up alongside Mireia Marquez Soto. But the Spanish swimmer, as we have seen earlier this week, also a very strong freestyle swimmer, so if she is ahead going into the freestyle leg of this IM, you would expect her to be able to hold on to that lead, but it's very tight in the last turn. The two breaststrokers made the most of that.
Well, they did indeed. Wozniak and Jimenez moving into the final 25 meters now, and well, the tables have turned back in the favor of Marquez Soto of Spain. She will take this, and it looks like Jimenez of Argentina, well, I was just about to say Jimenez of Argentina is going to kind of take it, but Wozniak has put on a bit of a spurt just to come in second. 2:41.78 for Marquez Soto. And it was Wozniak of Poland, 2:44. That is very, very comfortable swimming indeed.
Well, it was a comfortable time as well for Marquez Soto. A couple of seconds outside her best. And, well, she doesn't look too happy about it, but she can't be too unhappy about it. She's had a good week so far, and that will set her up nicely to make it to the final this evening. And then Marquez Soto got to the end of that breaststroke leg, still in the lead, although the lead was vastly reduced from it was at the end of the backstroke. And she takes that one by just over 2 seconds. Wozniak, a good swim there from Poland, and Jimenez in third position for Argentina. Close contest between those two. They were evenly matched there in terms of their strengths and weaknesses in that individual medley, and they will be hoping to progress to the final with those times. But it's quite a strong heat, this second heat, and the second Spanish swimmer goes as well. Ellen Keane, bronze medalist, the World Championships last year in this event. We'll be hoping for a good swim here. Sarai Gascon has been on fire this week. What a 100 butterfly swim yesterday, European record. And a good swim as well from Claire Cashmore of Great Britain to win a medal in that 100 butterfly. And Claire Cashmore, very strong breaststroke swimmer as well. That will stand her in good stead in this medley. But watch out for Gascon there. Expect her to lead in the early stages in this butterfly.
Well, as we've seen before, Claire Cashmore, the quickest reaction time off the blocks, but better underwater was the lady in lane number 6, Konkoly of Hungary, who gets to the fly first. Well, that tends to indicate to me that Sarai Gascon is well and truly foot off the gas. Well, and she was better underwater. Going to be interesting to see what Claire Cashmore does on the freestyle, because in freestyle competitions there is, quite effectively, there's no rules, but in the freestyle leg of the medley, that can be any stroke, but it must be different to the preceding 3. Now, Claire Cashmore swimming with a one-armed butterfly style, it's going to be interesting to see if she swims like that, but with a freestyle leg kick. Is she going to go back to a 2-armed style? We'll find out fairly soon enough. Well, Sarai Gascon, I think she knows exactly what the game is here. Ellen Keane in lane number 3 at the top of your picture there in the white hat. At the bottom is Konkoly of Hungary, but the field's starting to flatten out now. Claire Cashmore, of course, Paul, a great breaststroker.
Yeah, Ellen Keane's breaststroke been going well too this year. The white hat, the Irish swimmer, is leading this one. Claire Cashmore coming back strongly though. Cashmore may well be challenging for the lead here. Konkoly has had a fantastic competition so far, the 14-year-old from Hungary, on the medal podium as well earlier in the week. Ellen Keane, I think it is, with just a lead. In fact, it's all square between Ellen Keane and Claire Cashmore. Absolutely level on time, 2:04.24. And Sarai Gascon, well, I just wonder if she just feels like she might win this one. She is putting a little bit more into the freestyle, but still looking absolutely supreme. Konkoly working very hard, the Hungarian, but look at Sarai Gascon here. Fantastic time she did in the 50 freestyle, and that is very, very impressive for Sarai Gascon there. 2:42.14 for the Spanish swimmer, and that was very good indeed. Giles, she just put the burners on there on the freestyle just to make sure she got at the front of the field, and the other swimmers, well, they had no answer really.
Well, just finishing there in lane number 7, Renata Pinto of Portugal. Yeah, well, you know, turned up, did the heat.
Right.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, there's the start for you. Konkoly, well, she was good on the butterfly. There's Claire Cashmore, breaststroke into freestyle. Much more traditional front crawl style from Claire Cashmore on that closing 50 meters.
Result of the heat is confirmed. Gascon, Konkoly, Cashmore and Keane are the top 4 finishers, and there are your finalists. They all make it into the final, the 2 Spanish in first and second position going into that final this evening. Well, 2 Spanish swimmers going to be tough to beat, Giles, this evening. That was an excellent display of medley swimming from those 2. And I would imagine they would swim it slightly differently. Sarai Gascon will have the stronger breaststroke, and Naraya Marcus Soto the stronger backstroke. So
then that's the thing with the medley, isn't it? You have to work, you have to capitalize on your strengths, but you got to work your weaknesses as well. It's a very, very unforgiving event. They call it the lung buster.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating encounter tonight. Sarai Gascon, you have to say, looked very, very good on that freestyle, and that is going to be an asset when she gets to the end of that medley. And the swimmers just about to come out for the next event, which is the men's 100 meters butterfly in the S10 classification. 2 heats to look forward to in this one. And again, some very, very fast swimmers from Europe and especially from the other regions of the world, the Brazilians in particular, we shall see here. And they have had, the 2 Brazilians have had a couple of fantastic races, haven't they, in the freestyle events?
Well, they've been absolute doozies, haven't they? One apiece, Andre Brazil and
Felipe
Rodriguez. Oh, our fellow,
who you know very well.
Our fellow commentator Liz Johnson is going to absolutely kill me for that. Liz, if you're watching back at the hotel, I apologise profusely. But it does promise to be a very, very quick race indeed. Going to be interesting to see, of course, what Andre Brazil does. So far, he has come very, very close to not even progressing from the heats. He's messed around a bit, almost a bit too much with his pacing. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get away with all that. There's not that much slack in the system.
Looking at the entry times here of the swimmers, Andre Brazil, the world record holder, in 55.99. And well, there's maybe around about 7 or 8 swimmers over the 2 heats that are 101 or less, so maybe he will see what the others are doing, see where he is in the race. I don't expect him to go as fast as that qualification time that he's posted there, 56. David Levesque, former European gold medalist in 2009 and 11. He'll be hoping to make it into another European final.
He looks in good shape, doesn't he, Levesque?
Does. He's one of the most experienced guys around. He's been around for a few years now. The Paralympics under his belt, 3 in fact. 31 years of age, David Levesque. 31 years of age, Andre Brazil alongside him. They know each other well. We'll see what Andre Brazil does here. Looking pretty comfortable, had a pretty good start there. Brazil and Levesque away strongly. Lasse Andersen from Denmark in lane number 3, and also Menciotti from Italy in lane number 6. Those are the 4 who are leading going into the turn.
Oh, good underwater section there in lane number 5 from David Levesque. Andre Brazil, well, he's letting the field move away from him, but it's not the silly games we've seen in the freestyle. It's very much a case of let's make sure we make this final. He's just starting to move through the field now, the Brazilian in the lime green hat, but this is going to be Dave Levesque. 58.82, very comfortable. 59.92, very comfortable also for Andre Brazil. Well, it was actually Andersen in lane number 3 of Denmark who finished in the 3rd place spot. Well, not all plain sailing for these guys. They did have to work relatively hard because they just don't know what's coming in the next heat. Now, often Andre Brazil seems to end up in the last heat, so he can watch everything that's gone in front. Very rarely seem to see him swimming in the very first heat, but it's because the quick man of the Ukraine, Denis Dubrov, the European record holder, is in the next heat with a faster entry time. Well, here's the finish. Levesque, big glide into the finish. Always a sign of a man just slightly throttled back.
Levesque does take that one. 1.1 second ahead of Andre Brazil. We finished strongly to get in ahead of Lasse Andersen. And Riccardo Menciotti in 4th position. 1 minute 0.64 he will have. Nervous wait to see what the swimmers in this next heat will do. There's the Danish supporters, Emily Winter there looking on closely. Swam the 100 butterfly earlier. The Swedes are out as well. We've got a Swede in this next one. And here he comes, final swimmer, Ludwig Neuren. He goes in lane number 1 there. We'll see the second Brazilian in this one. Felipe Rodrigues, Giles.
Felipe Rodrigues. Wow, superb 50 meters freestyle he had yesterday. He absolutely flew. But, well, I don't know if he's going to be able to live with the pace from the man from Ukraine in lane number 4, the big man, Denis Dubrov.
There's Emmanuel Gonçalves from Portugal, local man from here in Madeira. Real kind of local celebrity. Gave the athlete's oath at the opening ceremony. There's been all the publicity for this championships. Really delighted to have it here in his hometown of Funchal. He'll be struggling to keep pace with the leaders here though, and the leading 3, the men that have all got entry times under the 1 minute mark, are away strongly. Grigorev there, closest to us, without the cap. Dubrov going well in the centre lane, and Rodrigues in 3rd position as they come to the turn, Giles.
Well, Rodrigues, by far the quickest reaction time, as you'd expect from a 50 freestyler.
Not sure if that caption's correct, because that is the first heat. It is Grigorev and Dubrov who do lead that, and Rodrigues in 3rd position.
Well, Grigorev, fantastic anchor leg he had last night on the freestyle relay, and well, he's not going to let Grigorev get away with this. Grigorev looking across to him. How much is he going to do? Well, it's Grigorev who takes it. Rodrigues 101.41 in 3rd, and Rodrigues' style is very much in butterfly. Your head should really lead the body motion. The head dives in and the hands follow, and Rodrigues, well, his head and his hands both go in at the same time, and it means he doesn't have a perfectly smooth, kind of sinuous dolphin motion. It costs him speed. There you go, you can see the power just put into the blocks there on the start by Dmitry Grigorev of Russia.
There is a turn, Grigorev and Dubrov. They came out together. Dubrov breathing slightly to the side, as if he's keeping an eye on Grigorev. Grigorev is the reigning European champion. Dubrov, the reigning world champion. These two will be in contention for the medals again tonight, both in the 58-second mark. Rodrigues 101.41. He should be in the final this evening. He will make it in 7th position, so this time it's Felipe Rodrigues in the outside lane rather than Andre Brazil. Grigorev and Dubrov, Levesque and Brazil. That should be a final to look forward to tonight.
Well, there you can see lined up the heat of the next event, which will be the women's 100 meters butterfly S10. This is heat number 1. Well, on paper, Hernandez Santos and Nina Ryabova in lanes 4 and 5. Well, considerably faster. Next, the young Dutch swimmer Chantal Zederveld, who will be swimming in lane number 3.
Swimmer's getting the feel of the water there.
Absolutely. The pool water quite cold, isn't it? So you kind of, but the actual air temperature is very warm. So a lot of swimmers will splash themselves first, so there isn't quite a shock when they first hit the water.
Ryabova, of course, with that fantastic swim in the 50 freestyle. Spotted a finish perfectly, claimed world record mark last night. Just wonder how she's feeling this morning. She recovered from that. She's off pretty well there. Ryabova in lane number 5. Fernandez Santos in lane number 4, just about in second position. In fact, maybe not in second position there, because Chantal Zederveld going well in lane number 3.
Also, Lena Watts of Sweden at the very top of your picture in the yellow cap there. Had a good first 50, but starting to fade now. She's going to struggle to live with the class of Hernandez Santos and Nina Ryabova, but it's the Spaniard who looks to be clearly in front now. Chantal Zederveld just moved up in lane number 3. It looks like it's going to be Spain, Russia, Netherlands, 1, 2, 3.
That's a good time for Fernandez Santos, 110.66, and well, it was very, very close for second position there. Very close indeed between all of the swimmers. Everyone seemed to close up there. Bianca Papp came through very, very strongly in the closing stages and may well just have nicked that second position.
Well, and that's a fantastic time for Bianca Papp. Her entry time is 1:15.09. Well, she's just gone 1:12.99. Sometimes swimmers have a big step improvement. Be interesting to see what she's got in the final, whether she could actually challenge for the medals. Well, here she comes through. Just nicks it.
Yeah, very close for second, third, fourth and fifth. Fernandez Santos clear in first position, but that could be very interesting when they come to decide who the top 8 are, because the second heat will have seen that big improvement by Bianca Papp, and they are not going to be able to hang about too much there, because that was quite a fast first heat. Fourth position 1:13.16 and fifth position 1:13.43. There's a Portuguese swimmer, Teresa Neves, in lane number 2. She'll be well supported by the crowd here. Aurélie Rivard, the Canadian, goes in lane number 5. Olivia Jabojska from Poland, the European champion from 2014. She will be the favourite for this one, but Aurélie Rivard, she's been on great form as well, hasn't she? More known as a freestyler. We'll see what she can do in this 100 butterfly, and away like a rocket there. Aurélie Rivard, great reaction.
Rivard, the lone representative of Canada, wanted to come over here and race best in Europe. And she is away quickest. Well, Olivia Jabojska of Poland in the red hat, just moving through there. Also going well, Lucia Sos of Hungary in lane number 3. It's going to be interesting. Aurélie Rivard, fastest by almost 2 seconds on paper, and her turns are exceptional. She was down there on Jabojska, but just leveled it all out just with a good, really, really good turn. Well, lane number 6, Kopovic of Russia, also looking good in this heat 2 of the women's S10 100 butterfly. And it is going to be Jabojska who wins this by a comfortable margin. Aurélie Rivard really just doing enough. And it's actually quite a quick time, 1:11.36.
Yeah, not bad from Jabojska, 1:11.36. Rivard, 1:13.94. Kopilovic 1:13.97, and Lukaszos 1:14.07 for the Hungarian. So it was all very, very tight indeed, as we saw in that first heat as well. And all the swimmers in the first heat in the 1:13 range. So they may well all have made it. All the swimmers from the first heat may well just make that, Giles. Second heat didn't quite go fast enough. Well, we'll wait and see confirmation of that result, but Jabojska swam very well there, losing ground on the start, losing ground on the turns to Rivard, but in the swim, there was no doubt about who was the stronger. The result is confirmed of that second heat. Wojska, Rybard, Pilovic and Sos. As looks like Lucas Sos is the one to miss out there, and Rybard only 0.13 ahead of Lucas Sos, and it was very close. Rybard scraping into the final in 7th position, 3 100s ahead of Kopilovic and only 12 100s ahead of the 9th place swimmer. So that will be extremely tight indeed. And as you said, Giles, that improvement by the likes of Bianca Papp just put the cat on the pigeons, didn't they? And someone missed out on the final because of that big improvement.
Absolutely. And, well, Aurélie Rivard, she's going to end up in lane 1 tonight. She's not used to that lane at all, is she? She's very much used to lanes 4 and 5, the lanes where the favourites end up. Well, anyway, we'll see that later on tonight. In the meantime, that takes us on to the next event, which is the men's 100 metres breaststroke SB6, and there is the lane lineup for you. Well, Crispin in 4 from Colombia, Bjornstad, Norway. Very, very quick indeed.
Crispin swam very well in the 100 freestyle yesterday. One of the Colombians there, Andreska Bjornstad. We haven't seen much of him so far this week, Bjornstad. There is Antonio Sebertran next to Bjornstad there. Bodaiko, the world record holder, has been dominant in this event over the past few years. Experienced man there. In lane number 3 is Christoph Burkhardt of Germany. Of course, Christoph Burkhardt has been around for a long time. He was a Paralympic champion in 2004.
Well, Crispin's reaction time there, 0.63 off the blocks. Very, very quick indeed. And already the Colombian in the purple hat eking out an early lead, but the rest of the field beginning to collapse now as they come into their advantages. Burkhardt, Bjornstad, either side of the young man from Colombia.
Well, Crispin will probably get a little bit better from the turn, certainly from Burkhardt. Bjornstad just edging closer to Crispin, but Crispin comes away as we expected, Giles, off that turn.
Well, he does, but they are beginning to catch him. Also moving up now in lane number 6 is Ponce of Spain.
We'll see if he can challenge the lead. But it looks like Crispin just holding on to that. He has shorter reach than Bjornstad. But Crispin does look strong, and he's going to come into the finish here, and he's going to take this one.
Well, the first 4 are in. Well, Christoph Burkhardt had to settle for 4th in the end, but very tight for first and second, as you saw. 1:27.61 for Crispin, 1:27.91 for Bjornstad, and Ponce Bertrand of Spain, 1:29.97. Be interested to see what happens in the next heat. Here's the start. Wow, and you can see there just how quickly the Colombian was off the blocks. Very, very few people can react to a start gun that quickly. Real sprinters, explosive start that. And here it comes to the finish. Well, as Paul said, he hasn't got the reach that Bjornstad has got, but in the end he was far enough in front. It didn't matter, and there's the confirmation of the result for you.
Yeah, Crispin takes it, 1:27. 5.61. Expect him to go a little bit faster in the final. And the second heat sees Portuguese swimmer in lane 1, Nuno Alves, and the world record holder in lane number 4, Yevgeny Bordayko. And there is the German favourite. We can hear the Germans just to the left of us, supporting their man, Torben Schmidtke. There's a young Netherlands swimmer. Netherlands, well, that small team of 4, all of them picked up a medal yesterday. And Torben Schmidtke, again, a good reaction. Bordayko, better underwater.
Well, Yevgeny Bordayko, a very strong member of a very strong Ukrainian team. Torben Schmidtke of Germany, though, disadvantage at the start, but more of an advantage in the swim, much higher stroke turnover. Not really any kind of sitting back into the pace, very much wanting the centre lanes. We saw that with both Nelson Crispin and it looks like we're seeing the same thing here. Yevgeny Bordayko of the Ukraine just eking back on Torben Schmidtke with the underwater section of the turn, and possibly moving up slightly now. It's slightly deceptive on your screens because of the camera angle. Schmidtke, body length really now over Bordayko as they come into the final 15 metres.
And Schmidtke has been a medalist in this event over the past few years. He's never quite managed to hit the gold medal spot because he's always been behind Bordayko. And, well, not the best of finishes there for Schmidtke at the end there. He kind of got caught on not even a half stroke. It was like a quarter stroke or something at the very end there.
So, I don't know, a semi-breathe of a stroke. It was very peculiar. He should have just glided in, really. Well, he doesn't really care because he finished fastest, but Bordayko was closing him down all the time. Well, and still just coming in now to the finish. Well, here's that funny stroke at the end. Should have just glided there, but he does some kind of weird little, didn't need to do that. Well, I think if he'd have done that in the final, Bordayko would have been closer and would have punished him for it.
Alves finishes, getting the applause from the Portuguese crowd here. Portuguese supporters. Shrug of the shoulders from Torben Schmidtke. Little funny stroke at the end, didn't make any difference. He is still the fastest from that heat. He will be the fastest too into the final. We are waiting for confirmation of that one. I think we just have it. Schmidtke about 0.6 of a second ahead of Bordayko. Another good swim from the Netherlands swimmer, Van Hoefwegen, getting in ahead of the Belgium, Libin. And both of those will progress to the final, but they will be in the outside lanes. Schmidtke, Bordayko, Crispin are the fastest 3 into the final. The 3 medalists from the World Championships last year, so it's high quality for that men's 100 breaststroke SB6. Move on to the women's event, and just one heat of this one. Again, 9 swimmers in it, and they have to lose 1 to make the 8 swimmers for the final this evening. Charlotte Henshaw from Great Britain in the centre lane there, lane number 4, the European record holder. That time of 1:36.94, set that last year at the World Championships when she won the silver medal. What can this young lady do? Nicole Turner. What a swim she had in the individual medley a couple of days ago. 13 years of age, Nicole Turner. And a real star in the making. the Irish swimmer. The only medalist so far for the Irish team. And there is Özlem, the Turkish swimmer. Charlotte Henshaw, European record holder, centre lane. Charlotte Henshaw with no lower limbs, no legs below the knees. Try and make the most of this sit start. She does, but
well, she does very well against Nicole Turner, and she's already out in front. Massive power she got in the shoulders and the upper arms. Look at that, really almost trying to capitalize on what an able-bodied swimmer would call three-point breaststroke. Power from the arms pulling backwards, power from the leg kick, and power from the arms pushing forward. Well, Charlotte Henshaw, the leg kick highly impaired, but still really managing to look like she's got those 3 points of power. This is good swimming from Charlotte Henshaw. Well, she should, on paper anyway, is easily in front of the rest of the field. And well, she looks like she's going for it, Paul, in this heat, despite the fact that she's got a massive lead. We might see her ease up, but at the moment it looks like she's decided to do 2 quick swims today. Swimmers will sometimes do that, especially if they're trying to drive their own performance. Tiffany Thomas-Kane, the world record holder from Australia, not here, and Charlotte Henshaw will be desperately trying to get down to that world record time of Thomas-Kane, 1:34.95, very quick indeed. But here she comes now into the final 10 metres. She's stroke rate slowing down slightly, looks to be slightly more through tiredness. 1:37.86, a very respectable time that from Charlotte Henshaw.
very good indeed from Charlotte Henshaw. And that's just 0.7 of a second slower than her fastest time this year. So a good swim from Henshaw. She went out quite hard, around about half a second slower than her European record pace. So it was certainly a decent swim from Charlotte Henshaw. And she did get away from the blocks very well there in comparison to the competitors around her. Might not have expected that, but she does very, very well and very quickly went into the lead there. Going over the turn, Charlotte Henshaw, that pull under the water, it's up and into the stroke well, and into the finish. Watch that. By this time, stroke rate was just dipping a little. But a good finish and a comfortable win there for Charlotte Henshaw. Big victory. In fact, over 11 seconds ahead of Nicole Turner, Nina Kozlova in 3rd position, and Özlem Kaya in 4th position. But it's difficult to look past Charlotte Henshaw for tonight, Giles. That was an impressive swim this morning in the heats.
Well, it was indeed. And it is Anderson Wolf of Sweden who drops. And we look forward to the final of that one. Some more shots of swimmers waiting for their races, headphones in. Lots of discussion about what may or may not happen tonight. There's the next heat. And they line up just around the side of the pool here before being marched out behind the blocks.
Spanish and the Portuguese team side by side there in the athletes stand, and that is Portuguese swimmer João Pina who leads them out there. And this is the 100 backstroke in the S2 classification. Swimmers with one of the most severe disabilities in the Paralympic programme. Coming out with their coaches, they will have assistance, most of these swimmers. In fact, all of the swimmers will have assistance to wheel themselves or to get themselves on the pool deck by whatever means they can. Jacek Czech from Poland. was next to this man, Sergei Halmarchuk, world champion from 2015. But Dmitry Kokarev, well, what a swim he had a couple of days ago. Set a world record for the 200 freestyle, and he is the European record holder. And there's the Portuguese swimmer, João Pina. 10 swimmers taking a start on this one, so we have to lose 2 to progress to the final. And it's interesting, Giles, that this is the 100 backstroke. It's a fairly new event for this classification, but probably most of the swimmers in the S2 freestyle events will swim backstroke anyway.
Absolutely. This is almost their fastest event, isn't it?
Yang from China is the world record holder. He took that record from the man in lane number 5, Dmitry Kokarev, who is the European record holder. Set that record at the last European Championships in Eindhoven in the Netherlands 2 years ago. Some swimmers going over the blocks to start, some coming in from the side. And the starting technique that has developed over the years as kind of the recognised technique, the one that has been
become the standard, hasn't it?
The standard for everyone is being held by the feet by the coach. Is there just one swimmer who has not got that technique? It's a man in lane number 8.
Well, no, he is going for that technique. His coach was just a little bit late turning up.
There we go.
Interesting, he's being held sort of more by the knees.
The official's sorting that one out. This is not going to help the swimmers at all. They've been in the water for quite a while now. Eventually they're going to get underway. Some of the arms outstretched, some of the arms down by the side.
Well, it's only all the swimmers had hands up ready for that first pull, with the exception of 2, and that was Danilenko and Elena in lanes 7 and 8, and João Pina over in lane number 9, the one closest to your camera, where he starts with an alternate arm angle ready to go, but in the center lanes, Palamarchuk and Kokarev moving away. Dmitry Kokarev in lane number 5 going well, but Palamarchuk very kind of seems to have a much more kind of considered stroke. There's a lot less splash. A lot of these swimmers have problems with motor coordination and control. But as a general rule, the less splash in swimming, chances are you're being more efficient as you swim. Well, turn there, pretty evenly matched, and you can see just closest to your camera of the 2 leaders, Kokarev, more energy going into throwing water around. Palamarchuk, the arms come over into the water just that bit more cleanly, and he doesn't go up and down as much. All of the power that, although he seems to have less power available, all of the power that he's got is being channeled into going forward rather than making splash and going up and down. But it's still very tight as they come into the final 15 meters. Well, there you can see perfectly on the right of your screen, lots more splash, and on the left, a lot less.
The arms of Kokarev going a little bit, he's got a little bit more mobility in his shoulders than Palamarchuk. Palamarchuk entering above his head a little bit wider, and it was very close at the end there. And 209.98, Kokarev will take that one. And quite a decent time there actually, Giles, just a couple of seconds outside his best time, Kokarev, but that again promises to be quite a tussle there when they get to the final. These two, Kokorev really just blasted away the 200, went out very, very fast. Nigel Pina, Portugal, touching 9th position. That was the battle for 8th and 9th there at the bottom of your screen. Battle for 1st and 2nd we concentrated on. That was Kokorev and Palamarchuk. And Panabratets in 3rd position. But Kokorev, Palamarchuk, I would expect those two to go a little bit faster, especially Kokorev, because he will have a little bit more in the tank, you would expect, after the swim a couple of days ago in the 200. He really went for it in that 200 final, but Palamarchuk got a good record in this event, and would expect that he will challenge Kokorev.
Oh, there you can see the, in slow motion, the kind of much more sort of pulsing forward motion of Kokorev. Palamarchuk much smoother. Well, we'll lose 2 swimmers from that. It'll be the bottom 2, Jalpina and Georgios Kapelakis. Wait for the official results from heat to final.
Some of the GB supporters, Scott Quinn's mum and dad there. Even Tom Hamer's mum I saw in the front there. And crowd's just waiting for the next event to come in, which will be another one of the breaststroke events. Another really close contest in prospect here. There's some of the GB swimmers there. Zara Maluli making her debut here at these championships, 13 years of age. Embarrassed as she looks at herself on the big screen. Get that camera off me.
Yeah, I'm not here.
It's down on the pool deck, some athletes seating down on the pool deck, some athletes seating up here in the stands. And there's those blocks. A little bit of abrasion on all those blocks, so that's why you see some of the swimmers maybe have amputations. They're allowed to put a towel on the blocks just to prevent abrasion. But they need to have some sort of grip, I suppose. They are at an angle, so the swimmers need to have the grip on their feet there. They have, but again, just progressing through the program today. We still have a number of events for you to enjoy this morning. Progressing into those final medal table at the moment. Looks like Ukraine, top position in the European medal standings with 19 golds after 3 days of competition. Russia in 2nd position with 17 golds, so it's very close at that medal table. Well, looks like we do have a disqualification in that men's 100 backstroke S2. So that does mean that Joe Pina will progress to the final this evening. It doesn't affect the top 2 or 3 places. Kokorev, Palamarchuk, Panabratets. It was the Israeli swimmer Shalabi that was disqualified. So bad news for the Israeli swimmer, good news for the Portuguese swimmer. And the Portuguese home crowd will have another home swimmer to welcome in the finals this evening.
Well, there we have the heat of the men's 100 breaststroke SB5. 2 more Portuguese swimmers, Rocha and Costa, going in this one. Really well, the Lushkin of Russia and Forsman of Sweden in lanes 4 and 5. Fastest swimmers often in lanes 4 and 5 because they try to spearhead the race so that swimmers can't be dragged along by a inverted V shape of swimmers.
There's the Italian swimmer, Marco Dolfin. I was talking to his brother last night, who was here doing some media work for the Italian media. Said that his family are watching back home in Italy, so hello to Marco Dolfin's family there watching on the live stream.
Hello to the Dolphins.
He's trying to secure his place in Rio, the Italian, in lane number 6. 2 Portuguese swimmers, all of the swimmers will be trying to secure their place into the final this evening. It was a good start there in the outside lane. That was Lenski, Vyacheslav Lenski from Russia. You talked about the fastest swimmers in the middle lanes, Giles. Occasionally we get a swimmer without an entry time who just upsets that, and it's Vyacheslav Lenski has no entry time there, and we'll keep an eye on him. Doesn't look like he is going to contend for the top places at the moment though. Lane 4 going very well. Yuri Lukin, a world champion, goes out very fast, the Russian in that pink hat. And also going well, looks like lane number 2.
I know, of Vietnam.
Yeah, very good swim here in the early stages.
Well, it is the pink hat of Lushkin, who is comfortably in the lead here. Lane number 5, much higher stroke turnover of Carl Forsman of Sweden. There we can see he does 2 strokes without breathing. And perhaps quite a different stroke in this class, this SB5. Higher degree of impairment than in... Oh, look, watch the clock, because the world record stands at 1:30.
Oh, very close indeed, Jazz. 1:31.83. The split was bang on world record pace at the 50.
Oh, look
Lukin nearly challenged that one there, and he was going for that, I think. A little bit out of breath there for the Russian.
Yeah, I think so. I think he must have woken up this morning and thought, yeah, I feel good, I'm going to have a crack at that. Well, Forsman came in second, 1:35.88. And Do, oh, he was out very quickly, the Vietnamese swimmer. Couldn't live with the pace coming back. He ended up finishing 5th in 1:42. Third was Marco Dolfin of Italy in 1:38.42. That should see him comfortably into the final. And just coming into the finish now is Jose Costa. In lane number 0. The man from Portugal just bringing it home now on the far side of the pool. And there's a big cheer for him here.
Oh, Portuguese crowd always very encouraging here, and they will help their swimmer in Jose Costa in lane number 0. Very, very short stroke there, short arms for Jose Costa, and he comes in a time of 3:02.37, and that was very quick indeed for him compared to his entry time. But Yuri Lukin was the man of the moment here, really looking good there at breaststroke, the world champion of course, and looking to try and claim that world record held by a countrymate of his, Andrei Granichka. Yuri Lukin not too far away from that at all, 1:31.83. Carl Forsman it was in second position, and Marco Dolfin with his best time that he has posted, and his brother has just shot across to us there and saying it's an Italian record, so that's a good swim for Marco Dolfin. Carl Forsman in second, of course, but Lukin looks to be the favourite going into that final, and maybe having an attempt on that world record, which stands just a second or so faster than the Russian win in that heat this morning.
Well, we moved swiftly on to the women's SB5 100 meters breaststroke. Well, Victoria Savtsova and Mareshko of Ukraine in lanes 4 and 5. Really the quickest by far in this field. Well, and the Ukrainians absolutely storming this European Open Championships in Funchal. Have a staggering 19 gold medals as of last night. Next, the Russian Federation. In third place, Great Britain with 9, Italy with 5, Spain with 4, Belarus and Norway both on 3.
There's Marina Schott from Germany, and well, the Germans have dominated this event. Kirsten Brun was really fast for a number of years in this SB5 event. So fast that the SB5 record was faster than the SB6 record, and still is. Kirsten Brun was such great quality. Verena Schott followed in the footsteps of Kirsten Brun with winning the world title last year, but the time she set the world title was significantly slower. She won the world title significantly slower than Kirsten Brun's record.
Well, the fastest time entered here, Victoria Savtsova on 1:43. Kirsten Brun's world record 1:33. I think we're going to see that one in the record books for many years to come.
Well, Savtsova was, of course, the Paralympic champion in the SB6 classification. Since been reclassified down to SB5. And that means that she's up against her countrymate, Yelizaveta Mareshko, who has been in sparkling form so far. Savtsova into the wall, out quickly. Mareshko, a good turn from her, no use of her legs, and she has probably got more stamina than her countrymate Savtsova in lane number 4, and that is beginning to tell now. Savtsova just being challenged now by Mareshko. Very different techniques, Giles.
Absolutely. Mareshko all about the upper body, employing the breathing once every 3 strokes. Savtsova, I suppose, more of a traditional kind of breaststroke style. She's done a lot to sort out. Her head used to wander around a lot, and she's done a lot to kind of fix that. Well, it's a quick time. 1:39.19 for Savtsova, 1:40.75. And well, that'll see those two certainly in the centre lanes again this evening.
Yeah, also a good time from Fanny Illich from Hungary in lane number 3, 1:49.20 for Illich. Savtsova, well, she held on well there. I thought that Mareshko was going to come back at her in the second 50. But Savtsova with a lead of just about a second at the halfway point, and she actually extended that lead into the 100 point. And those times, well, the world record significantly faster than that, 1:33, but anything under 1:40 is a very good time for this classification. Savtsova is first home, 1:39.19. Mareshko in second, 1:40.75. Fanny Illich from Hungary in the middle positions at the moment as they progress into the final this evening. And a couple of good times there, Giles. Well, we talked about Kirsten Brun's world record standing for a while, still significantly faster than that, but those swimmers went a little bit faster than we expected them to go.
Well, and interestingly as well, we saw Charlotte Henshaw in the SB6 class going 1:38. Savtsova just 1:39, but lots more swimmers up around that sort of 1:40 mark.
There's some pictures of some of the earlier events that we've seen this morning.
Nelson Crispin there with his electrifying start. He's somewhere underwater. There he is.
Colombians in our hotel. They look like a very tight-knit team. They're always together around the hotel and having a good time here in Madeira. And they are swimming very well, the Colombian team. Of course, they were in the test event in Rio de Janeiro just last week. They've flown here into Funchal straight from that, and they had good performances there in Rio. They've kind of built up their team over the last couple of years, the Colombians, and they've got 2 or 3 real stars and real medal prospects for that Paralympic Games in just about 120 days time or so.
Not long to go. Well, here's the finish for Charlotte Henshaw. No, it's the turn. It's the end of the first length and the beginning of the second. Well, and there you can see hands go very wide on the breaststroke, not quite as wide on the non-breaststroke.
And we do have confirmation of that result. That is what we were waiting for. And Satsova, Mereshko, Anilis, they are the top 3 into the final this evening. The swimmers waving their arms as they're coming out there, knocking chairs over. They're pumped up.
Well, this is the first heat of 4 for the men's 100 metres freestyle S13. It's a combined event. There are S12 swimmers in here, so there'll be a range of sight, but basically the maximum amount of sight that these swimmers will have, roughly sort of, I don't know, about 4 meters in front of them with a constricted field of view, which means they'll have to react very quickly when it comes to particularly the turn to get that right. And there can afford to be no messing around in this one at all. It is very tight, particularly across heats 2, 3 and 4. This is heat 1. They're going to have to work very, very hard indeed to find a final spot. Well, I've just said that, and lane number 4, Julius Jardining, was absolutely left in the blocks.
Yeah, good start though in the outside lane there. Again, one of these swimmers without an entry time, an outside lane flyer. Fanisev from Kazakhstan, S12 swimmer. It's a combined event, S12 and S13 going together. And a good start there in that outside lane. And he will be someone who may be looking to challenge for a place in that final. Well, but he's going to have to go something like low 50s.
Well, by my reckoning, a 53 is going to put you into the final. Well, the clock's just rolled over, 51, 52. He's going to be a long way outside of that. He's a cut above the rest of the class in this field. But I'm not sure it's going to be good enough for the man from Kazakhstan. Well, a good heat swim for Gunnarsson, who finishes in 1:06.45. That's an improvement by some 2 seconds on his entry time. So a good swim from him.
Yeah, the man from the outside lane, Kazakhstan, Afmasanev, goes in lane number 1, 102.14. That was the first of the 4 heats. And strong finish there, made sure he hit that block. Afanasayev, 102.14, ahead of Gunnarsson in second position, 106.45. You'll be pleased with that swim. We move now on to the second heat, which is the first of the seeded heats. So that means that the fastest swimmers, we will see the third fastest swimmer in the third last heat. See the second fastest swimmer in the second last heat and the fastest swimmer in the last heat. And lane 4, Kolantovsky, bronze medalist at the World Championships last year.
Dimitri Saleh there on your screen.
Yeah, 2 silvers already for Dimitri Saleh from Azerbaijan.
Well, and it really is a step change in gear from the first heat into this second heat. Well, the first heat had a fastest entry time, obviously, of 1:07. Fastest entry time in this heat, 53.
Let's see what these swimmers can do. You can see there's no hanging about. A couple of swimmers a little bit slower off the blocks there. Dimitri Saleh particularly slow there. He was the slowest one away of all the field here in the centre lanes. And as they get into their strokes there, it does look like lane number 5, the man who was almost left in the blocks, is going to lead them through the first 50.
Well, it was good recovery from Saleh, and he spotted the wall well. He will have seen that very, very late indeed, but he got it absolutely spot on. And he's coming thundering down this second 50-metre leg. Also going well is Farenberg of Brazil in the bright yellow hat, and also coming through Golentovsky in the blue hat. It is going to be tight. Saleh just doing enough to make sure he's in front of the rest of the field here, but it's going to be a quick time, Paul.
Oh, very good.
53.78. Well, that should be good enough to see him through to the final, but there is a whole raft of swimmers around the 54, 55 mark. They'll be a bit nervous watching the next 2 heats go. Even Golentovsky on 54.22. Well, at that time, he might just find himself in an outside lane, possibly not progressing at all.
Well, Golentovsky, second position, not too far behind Dimitri Saleh. 54.22, Kirill Pankov 54.77. Got an important touch there ahead of Carlos Farenberg, who's just a 1/10 of a second behind the man from Uzbekistan. We go on to heat number 3, and well, we'll just keep an eye on these. 53.78 for Dimitri Saleh, 54.76 for Kirill Pankov in 3rd position. There is Yaroslav Denisenko, silver medalist from the World Championships last year. Alexander Nevelin Svetov goes next to him in lane number 5. And there's young Stephen Clegg from Great Britain in his international debut here in Funchal. Good reaction in the outside lane. Who's very quick away was the Indonesian swimmer Yaoi. But already the swimmers in the centre lane there, Denisenko, well, he's not going to make a mistake here. Nevelin Svetov, they are going to go fast, these guys. They are going to try and secure that place in the final.
Well, here they come to the turn. They'll see the wall just about now. Oh, and it's a good turn from Nevelin Svetov, but underwater, Denisenko better and comes back at him now. And there's absolutely no fiddling about in this 3rd heat of the men's 100 freestyle S13, and just moving in front now, Nevelin Svetov, just about enough. Also going well, Smagin of Russia, looks like he'll come in 3rd. Stephen Clegg of Great Britain should take the 4th spot. Well, again, 53.36 won it. Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be, you're going to have a 54 at least to make the final. Well, obviously we'll see how it plays out with one more heat to go. But we are already built for a fantastic 100 meters freestyle final tonight, and we haven't even seen the quickest men on the program. And in this next heat, we get to see Ihar Boki of Belarus go against the great Maxim Varaksa of the Ukraine.
Well, this is a tussle we have anticipated for a couple of years now. It's a combined event. Varaksa, of course, an S12 swimmer. This man, Ihar Boki, a world record holder in the S13 class. This man, the world record holder in the S12 class. And Ihar Boki's world record, 50.85. Varaxa's world record, 50.91. 6 100s separating those two. The difference being Varaxa's record set some 7 years ago. E.R. Boki's set just last year.
Now, you can't quite see there on your screen, but the arm length of E.R. Boki is, in relation to his body, his arms are incredibly long.
Well, they are away. E.R. Boki got away well in lane number 4. Maxim Varaxa was up into his stroke very quickly, but E.R. Boki already has an early lead here. Dimitri Ramansalai, the second Salai brother, going very well in lane number 3. But it looks like Boki has got this one under control. E.R. Boki goes over in a very, very quick time. 24.59. Bang on world record pace, Giles.
Well, he looks absolutely incredible. Very, very slick indeed. Good head position. He got the turn absolutely spot on. E.R. Boki, well, he looks like, Maxim Varaxa looks to be a bit throttled back, as if he's doing just enough. A very, very dangerous game to play. But into the final 5 meters now. It's going to be tight. 51.26 for E.R. Boki. Maxim Varaxa 53.63. That should be good enough to see that he goes through to the final.
Raman Salai also under the 54-second mark, 53.92 for Raman Salai. And Sergei Klippert, 54.46. Well, not sure if that will be enough for the final, maybe just about, but what a swim there from E.R. Boki. Well, it was never really in doubt from the very early stages. 51.26.
Well, there you can see on his start as he pops up, he's going so fast that the water is almost creating a bow wave, which is actually breaking in front of his head.
And E.R. Boki has been very, very close to his best times in 3 events already this week. This is the 3rd one that he has swum. E.R. Boki, fantastic swim there, 51.26. Varaxa was in second, 53.63. And we check the qualification for the final. Well, Klippert did make it, 54.46. Boki is through. Denisenko, Nevelin Svetov, Varaxa, the 2 Salai brothers, Golintovsky, Klippert. Well, Boki looks the favourite, but it's anyone for the silver and bronze medals tonight.
For every single person in that final from a country of the former USSR. I think it says something about visually impaired freestyle swimming in that part of the world.
Well, let's see what the women have in store for us. It's the 100 freestyle in the S13 classification. A combined event again, of course. And this young lady, an S12 swimmer, but she has been on fantastic form this week. Daraya Stukalova, 2 golds already. And there is Shoksanamkon Tosh Polatova from Uzbekistan. She's been in good form as well, Asian records. And there's Elena Kravtsov, breaststroke winner last night. 3 very fast heats in prospect here. Stukalova will be the favourite, the only entry time under the 1 minute mark. Might not be quite as difficult to qualify in the women's events as it would be in the men's, but we'll see what Daraya Stukalova can do here. She has probably got half an eye on the world record held by her countrymate Oksana Savchenko, who set that back in London in the Paralympic Games in 2012. Stukalova ahead of Tosh Polatova from Uzbekistan and Kravtsov in 3rd place.
I shouldn't worry, it's a difficult name to get right, but Tosh Polatova having a good heat swim here and taking on Stukalova. Wants to make sure that she sticks close to the Russian to ensure a place in the final. Stukalova got this race well and truly under control. It's pretty quick, 1 minute 0.25. Tosh Polatova, 1 minute 67. which is a full 3 seconds quicker than her entry time. Daria Starkalova, she looks in great shape. Hands don't come together on the start. Saw with Ihar Boki, one hand on top of the other. The turn was good. Well, the turn was very, very good from Toshpolatova, who clawed back a bit of ground out of the Russian.
Here is the result confirmed. Starkalova 1 minute .25, an Asian record for Toshpolatova, 1 minute .67. She should progress to the final with Alicia Berra from Italy in third position there. So we move on to heat number 2. Hannah Russell from Great Britain in the centre lane. Naomi Micah-Schnitger next to her, 1 minute .25, the time from the previous heat. Modelova from Uzbekistan. Well, can she challenge the Asian record just set by her countrymate Toshpolatova in that first heat?
Superb start from Hannah Russell. Up very quickly and into her stroke. She was up first, in fact, and she's just gone through the 35-meter mark, coming now into the turn. She'll see the wall about now, gets the turn, very good turn indeed, and extends her lead. I think she really is gonna have to try and come up with something at least on the minute. Coming back on her lane number 5, Naomi Micah-Schnitger of Germany. Hannah Russell needs to make sure that she stays in front of the German.
Well, Schnitger going very well indeed. We're a little bit closer to Russell than we thought she might be, but Russell is in there, 1 minute .94. Schnitger just half a second behind. Delgado Nadal in third position for Spain in 103.21, but Hannah Russell takes that one, 1 minute .94, and it's just behind the time was done in that first heat by Daria Starkalova, and Toshpolatova as well will be inside the time set by Hannah Russell in that heat. So decent swim there, very good swim from Naomi Micah-Schnitger as well. Hannah Russell this week challenge for medals in this one, confirmed in first position. Final heat is on the way, and we do have the world record holder in the S13 class. There she is, Anna Stetsenko, won the 50 freestyle ahead of Anna Krivshina. The reigning champion Krivshina, the world record holder Stetsenko. Good work under the water from Krivshina, and that brings her up ahead.
Well, Stetsenko, considering she's the world record holder, under the water, hands apart, fingers splayed, not in the optimal streamlined position. She's got a good languid freestyle, which brings her out in front. And she's good round the wall, also making some ground there. Joanna Mendak of Poland in the red hat in lane number 6, but, well, Stetsenko out in front. Got this one under control, that's for sure.
You see what kind of time Stetsenko can get in lane number 4. World record was set last year in Germany, 58.72. It's a little bit slower out on the first 50. It's going to be comfortable time there. She's not going to be in the centre lanes for the final. Stetsenko 101.33. Joanna Mendak 103.11. And Ariadna Edo Beltran from Spain in third position, 103.33. Just 4 100s ahead of Krivshina. I wonder if that'll be vital for Krivshina. I wonder if the reigning champion has actually made it through to the final.
Well, there's the turn, and you can see how Joanna Mendak just managed to take back a bit of ground, but wasn't really good enough in the end. There's the official result of Heat 3. Stetsenko and a Krivshina, as you say, for 103.37.
Not sure that's going to be enough, and it isn't. She has missed out on the final, the reigning champion. Stokalova, Koshbulatova, Russell, Stetsenko, Schnitger, the reigning champion in 9th position, will not take the start in the final.
Well, that is an absolute... what a mistake to make. What a mistake to make. Well, the events here do not stop for mistakes by either Paul and myself or by the swimmers themselves. We go straight into the next event, the men's 100 meters breaststroke SB7. We've seen the 5s, the 6s, and now the 7s, pretty much in the center of that disability impairment range of the physical impairment classes. Quite a melting pot class. Swimmers can have 2 affected arms, some affected legs, could have hemiplegic cerebral palsy, so one side of the body impaired. And each impairment type throughout the race will have a point at which the swimmer is at an advantage over the competitors and a point at which they are at a disadvantage over the competitors. Now,
off there, 2 swimmers in the centre lanes between the yellow markers. That's Ranenko in 4, Chibotrev in number 5. Ranenko, Ukrainian swimmer, and Chibotrev in lane number 5, the Russian swimmer. Those 2 looking like they are dominating this heat. 2 heats of this one. Another 6 swimmers in the second heat, including the world record holder. But Hernenko over there, comfortably.
He is, Hernenko, having a cheeky look across at the Russian just to make sure that he's got it under control. You shouldn't really be doing that. Your swimming coach would always tell you, no matter win, lose or draw, make sure you keep your eyes pointing forward, because that's the only way you're going to maintain good head position. There, he looks right across.
Yeah, he looks like he's got this one under control indeed. Very relaxed by Hernenko. A couple of medals so far, 2 bronze medals to his name. Looking to add to that tally in this breaststroke event. And Chibotrev in 2nd position. It's like Viktor Kemeny from Slovakia in 3rd place. Hernenko. That looked pretty easy for the man from Ukraine. And as you said, Joe, I was looking around, which suggests obviously he's got a lot more to give. Final, it was a good time actually he did there.
There you can see him.
23.80.
In fact, I think he expected to see Chibotrev right next to him, because he turned his head round and he realised he was a bit further in front than he thought, and turned his head round even more. Sort of almost pulled himself off course.
I'll expect this one to be a little bit faster than the first heat, because we do have the world record holder in this one. It's Carlos Serrano Zarate. His entry time we saw on the screen of 1:15.62, but just a week or so ago, swimming in Rio de Janeiro, set a new world record. Tobias Pollak from Germany swam well yesterday in the individual medley, and he's away to a good start. The world record holder is out fast, the Colombian, in lane number 4.
Well, both Serrano Zarate and Nelson Crispin, his teammate from Colombia, both incredibly quick out the blocks. The reaction times in the 0.6 of a second range. And high stroke turnover from the Colombian coming now. Be interesting to see what Efrosini of Russia can do round the turn. Well, Serrano Zarate got it well under control. And he looks good, Paul. You know, the hands come together, nice riding body motion, and the kick happening just at the right point to push the body over the top of the vortex generated at the front part of the stroke by the hands. It's going to be some way off his best, as you'd expect.
He's in 120.65. Efrosini in second position, 122.66. So he's faster than his entry time by quite a margin. Efrosini. In third place, Tobias Pollak, continuing his good run this week. That's an improvement on his entry time as well. Carlos Serrano Zarate should have a lot more to give tonight. 120.65, and that is nearly 6 seconds short of the time he did just a couple of weeks ago to win the test event in Rio and to claim that world record. So here he is coming in to the finish there, looking relaxed. Another one of this very strong Colombian squad that's come here. The result is confirmed, 120.65 for Carlos Serrano Zarate. Efrosini, young swimmer from Russia, in second. Tobias Pollak in third position. And they should make it to the final this evening. We've still got a few more heats to come this morning, Giles.
What are they?
They are the women's 100 breaststroke SB7. They are the men's 100 breaststroke SB4. They are the women's 100 breaststroke SB4. They are the men's 50 freestyle and women's 50 freestyle S11s. And the 100 breaststroke for SB14s. Men and women.
Compelling and rich. Next up, we will have the women's 100 SB7 in breaststroke. You can see them just lining up now, just waiting for the start time. Swimmers have to start on time. They will have geared their warm-ups and preparations for the event.
They are just sorting out that previous heat as well. So we may be looking at some form of disqualification possibly for that previous heat. I don't think so. We have confirmation of the finalists. And there is Serrano Zarate first into the final. Efrosini in second position, and I'm sure Hernenko will not be looking around as much in the final this evening. He qualifies there in third position. And we can now welcome the swimmers in the 100 breaststroke SB7. Oksana Krul from Ukraine in that lane number 4. Oksana Krul, look in good shape. Oksana Krul saw her swim in the relay, and with the 50 meters butterfly that she'll be looking forward to, an event that she's dominated for a few years now. Tuskova goes next to her from the Czech Republic in lane number 5. We have one heat of this 100 breaststroke.
Well, also in the outside lane without an entry time. Anastasia Diadrova in lane number 8. Well, she's already been a gold medalist here at the European Championship, so interesting to see what she can do. She's closest to your camera there. Well, she gets away very quickly indeed. And lots of different impairment types within this class. See Oksana Krull in the blue hat in the center of the yellow lanes, leading this race out. And she swims with quite a unique style, really, doesn't she? She hasn't got enough power in her arms to actually use them as part of the stroke, but what she does is she, rather than hold them by her side, she holds them out in front, which is a more streamlined position. And as she comes around the turn, she hasn't really got, she's got enough power to almost kind of spring off them, but she hasn't got any power to be able to actually push with them. And there she just holds them out in front, has a good, powerful breaststroke kick. Also going fairly well either side of her in lanes 3 and 5. Mina Clausen of Norway in 3, and Duskova in lane number 5.
Lane 1 as well, going pretty well. Pavlova, the Russian, is probably in second position at the moment, just holding on to that second spot. But here comes Oksana Krull. Anything around about the 140 mark, pretty good for Oksana Krull. 141.17. She'll be hoping to dip under that 140 mark tonight. It was Pavlova. She has had a good week so far. Pavlova, Duskova in third position. Oksana Krull. She's breathing a little bit heavily. Oksana Krull there at the end, but comfortable victory, and she will be firm favourite going into the final this evening. There's those hands out in front, as you said, Giles, just held there. That unique style that she has. And it does give her a very slight advantage over the swimmers who have no arms at all, and all their propulsion, like Oksana Krull, is coming from the legs. Gives her that little bit, a tiny little bit of an extra reach at the end. Oksana Krull takes that one. Pavlova in second, Duskova in third position. And there are the swimmers progressing to the final this evening. Interesting event coming in here, Giles. You see the swimmers make their way out for the start of the men's 100 breaststroke SB4. 9 swimmers again in this one. Just got to lose one, so maybe see swimmers holding back here, but very interesting tussle in the middle.
Absolutely.
Sapitakis qualified for the World Championship final with the fastest time ahead of Daniel Diaz. But in the final, the Greek could not repeat the time he did in the heats. And Daniel Diaz sneaked in and took the gold medal. There's another one of the Colombians, Moises Fuentes Garcia. And there's Sapitakis, European record set in the heats in Glasgow last year. Daniel Diaz, the world record holder, set back in the London Paralympic Games.
Well, Diaz, of course, famous for dominating the S5 classification. But here in SB4, the reason breaststroke has its own classification lettering is due to the importance of the leg kick. And Daniel Diaz, quite severe leg impairment, which affects the breaststroke kick. And the importance of the breaststroke kick is being able to kick against the other leg, whereas with the other strokes, the legs to a certain extent, even in butterfly, can work on their own. Well, Diaz, as expected, got a good start, as did lane number 3, Ricardo 10 of Spain, the very popular veteran of world para swimming.
Stapatakis getting into his stroke now, loses ground over Daniel Diaz on the dive, but he is coming back into contention now, the Greek swimmer. Silver medalist, of course, last year to Daniel Diaz, Glasgow. Top 4 swimmers going well.
It's tight, isn't it? Also going well in lane number 1, Cherniev of Russia. Not completely out of it.
Again, as they go through the turn though, Zapatakis loses ground. He has to pick everything up again in the swim phase of this one, but he's doing a good job of that, Zapatakis. There are 4 or 5 swimmers all in a row.
Fuentes Garcia of Colombia, just nearer your camera there in the purple hat. Ricardo 10 of Spain. Right, the lead just keeps changing. Daniel Diaz looks to me like he's throttled back on this one. But Fuentes Garcia and Ricardo 10 of Spain are going to make sure that they get into the final. Cherniev of Russia in lane number 1 has clawed back some of the ground he lost over the turn. Now looks to me to be in front of Daniel Diaz. Well, home first was Fuentes Garcia of Colombia, 1:38.68. Ricardo 10 second in a time of 1:39.71. Zapatakis 1:40.91. Cherniev, well, he did well to get close to the leading 3, 1:42.62 out in lane number 1. Well, Daniel Diaz finished in 1:43.24, so I think he took that very easy indeed.
Yeah, it was a very good contest there. Between 4 or 5 swimmers, and it was the Colombian who took that one. This is Fuentes Garcia, and Paralympic medalist, of course, himself, world champion back in Montreal in 2013, and he was strong at the end there, but you've got to expect that the likes of Daniel Diaz will go significantly faster when he comes into the final. Fuentes Garcia looks across there, he wins that heat. 1:38.68 will be in the final, in first position ahead of Ricardo 10 and ahead of Antonio Zapatakis. And again, should be another close contest in prospect here. Fuentes Garcia, Ricardo 10, Zapatakis, Daniel Diaz. Well, they all may feature in the shake-up for the medals. And the women's SB4 event next to come into the arena. And certainly the favourite for this one, the swimmer you can just about make out on the right hand side, and that is Giulia Gueretti from Italy. Passes entry time with 1:53.81. Italian fans waiting for this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to poolside the athletes for the women's 100-metre breaststroke.
Here they come on to poolside. There is Giulia Gueretti, Irina Piviatova in 5, another Greek swimmer in this one. In number 3, Giulia Gueretti, part of that Italian relay team. They won the silver medal a couple of days ago. Irina Piviatova in the lane next to her. again, 2 heats. We have to look forward to in this one. In the second heat, another 6 swimmers. So these swimmers, well, they can't afford to hang about too much. We'll have an idea on what kind of time that they will be looking for. Sarah Louise Rung goes in heat number 2, the world record holder. But Julia Garetti has shown good form here so far this week. There's Mikova from the Czech Republic. Line number 2 again. SB4 class, Giles, different starting techniques across the pool.
That's right, start in or out of the water. Well, now you'd think automatically that starting on the block would be an advantage, but actually it's Deviatova who started in the water who had the best start by, well, quite a long way. Giretti now coming back on paper. Giretti of Italy, the fastest swimmer in this field by some margin. Deviatova, well, not letting it go. Giretti got that interesting side-breathing breaststroke style, and we're starting to see that come into para-swimming more and more and more. That style really came out of the mid-90s.
Who was that introduced that style, James? Do you remember?
Not. Well, who was it? Who was it? Was it
Jessica Long?
No, I don't think so.
Giles Long?
I think it might have been him. Yeah,
oh, right,
I think it might have been him.
Whatever happened to him?
Yeah. Well, quite. Well, anyway, back to the race. Giretti stamping her authority on this now. Well, it certainly works very well for her, that side-breathing breaststroke style, because what it means is that she doesn't have to lift her head out of the water as much as she would if she was breathing to the front. And with the whole body working like a seesaw, it means that she gets to keep her hips much higher. And she's just finishing now 1:57.22. Well, that's pretty easy for her. And Antoniadou 2:03.20, lady from Greece, finishing in second. Deviatova 2:05.64 in third. It was a comfortable heat for these ladies.
Yeah, not a bad time at all for Giretti from Italy. And she will progress to the final if that result is confirmed. We still have one swimmer in the water, Dominika Mikova from the Czech Republic. And she's coming into the last 5 metres. Antoniadou, well, she's gone a little bit up the pool there. She's gone up about 5 or 6 metres.
Is that allowed? Is that allowed in the rules? Can you do that? Are you allowed to just sort of float around?
There used to be a rule that you weren't allowed to go past a certain point in the pool just to swim up, because you used to see swimmers kind of treating it as like a swim down, and going up the pool when they're waiting for other swimmers to finish and come back.
Well, you're definitely not allowed to exit the pool before the other swimmers finish. But are you? But what are the? Maybe we should find that out.
We'll check that out, because there was a distance. It was something like 5 metres, maybe 10 metres that you weren't allowed to go. We'll speak to our IPC officials. Looks like the result is confirmed though, so she must have been within the rules. That was Antoniadou from Greece. Move on to the second heat and we see the world record holder is Sarah Louise Rung. I expect this to be a comfortable qualification for her. Natalie Chauvel, Teresa Perales. Teresa Perales and Sarah Louise Rung swum against each other in a number of events already this week. Kravchenko from Malta, making her way into the pool. I think she's the only Maltese swimmer in these championships. And she goes in lane number 7. Sarah Louise Rung, should be comfortable qualification for her. Teresa Perales got away well. Sarah Louise Rung also going well, and Teresa Go in lane number 3. An experienced swimmer from Singapore. She's going well there in lane number 3.
Oh, interestingly, look at the stroke rate comparison between Go and Rung. Go's stroke rate almost twice as quick as Sarah Louise Rung. Sarah Louise Rung there, that great turn that she gets where she sort of swims a U-turn at the end of the pool. She really has figured out how to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's that long before we start to see all the breaststroke swimmers in this class employing a very similar turning style to the champion, Sarah Louise Rung from Norway.
She's won all the major titles in this event except Paralympic title. I'm sure she will have that on her radar. Silver medal in London, and looking good here to be the fastest qualifier into this European Championship final. And it looks like she's going to be just under the 150 mark, 148.01 for Sarah Louise Rung. Teresa Go is going to hang on here for second position. She should make it to the final and be in line for a possible open medal tonight. Teresa Go in second position there in that time of 2:01.48. So Teresa Go, that's an improvement on her entry time by half a second.
Well, she could take it a lot easier, couldn't she, Sarah Louise Rung, in the heat stages? She's that far in front of the kind of the rest of the women in this event, but she never does. She always gets in there and has a fair crack at it.
Swimmer from Malta in lane number 7, Vladislava Kravchenko. Not a traditional Maltese name.
Particularly Maltese sounding name, no.
She lives in Malta now, represents Malta, born in Ukraine, of course. And she is coming into the last 5 meters now. And her entry time, she was entered in 3:02, and then she's gone over in 3:10.95. Sarah Louise Rung weighing into her stroke at the start there. Was challenged by Teresa Go from Singapore in the early stages, but took out so much on that turn there, and at the end it was comfortable for Sarah Louise Rung. She is a dominating force in this event. Giulia Gueretti winning the first heat. Sarah Louise Rung winning the second heat, 148.01, ahead of Teresa Go. And into the final, Sarah Louise Rung goes in first position. Giulia Gueretti, the only other swimmer under the 2-minute mark. Teresa Go, well, she'll have her eyes fixed on a possible open medal. And Antonidou from Greece is the 4th place qualifier, but it's very close between 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th there as they go into the final. Oh, sprint events now. Giles, I like the sprints, and for these guys it's the S11 class. Well, we saw some of the races last night in the S11 class were great entertainment, wasn't it? A lot could go wrong here for these swimmers with no vision at all.
Absolutely. Well, and on the 50, where the finish is so important, the tappers have to be really on the money to make sure that their swimmer finishes at full extension. We've seen lots of races where these swimmers just go clattering into the end. And of course, the other thing that they have to get right is they have to be, well, obviously quick off the blocks, but more importantly than that, they have to be directionally square going down the lane, because if they come off the block skewed in any way, then that usually means they go straight into the lane rope, and it costs them dearly in time.
Well, they have to have the confidence of their tappers for the turns, and especially at the end of this 50 meters freestyle. They are all away pretty well here so far, but oh, it's the green cap of Sousa into the ropes there.
Well, Sousa was away very, very quickly, the Brazilian, but he's gone onto the ropes and he keeps hitting it, and Smirnov is making him pay for it, but he keeps coming back. Here comes the tap.
And it's Sousa, I think, just gets it, 0.66, and Smirnov in 4th place at the end there, and I thought Smirnov was coming in just about challenging for the lead. It was Maxim Koval in 2nd in 28.49, Makowski in 3rd, 28.56, and Smirnov was touched out there by 17/100ths of a second there, Giles. Very close at the end.
Well, it was indeed. Sousa, as we said, well, there was the tap. Well, and that's the reason why Smirnov didn't actually hit the touchpad. He hit the top of the touchpad. He got that stroke finish wrong and came in on the recovery, and basically his hand finished kind of patting the top of the side rather than punching the touchpad.
Well, there is the result. Smirnov in 4th position. It could easily have been 5th there, because Smirka was only 4/100ths behind the Ukrainian swimmer. There is the blacked out goggles being checked by the officials, and only when they are checked will the swimmers know that the times they have done in that previous heat. That's the only time that the coaches will be allowed to let those swimmers know. Sousa though, 27.83, the fastest there. Will anyone challenge that time? Certainly swimmers capable of doing that. The South African Henry Herbst, medalist last year at the World Championships, certainly capable of doing that. His best time is just over the 27-second mark. He's entered there 27.04. Love to dip under that 27 seconds. And there's Zuzilao from Belarus. He goes next to Henry Herbst, who will be the favourite for this one. We'll see if anyone can go under the 28-second mark. It's Henry Herbst from South Africa. Is it the 16-year-old Zuzilao from Belarus? They are away cleanly. Henry Herbst.
Oh, Herbst has gone straight into the rope. Well, he's managed to re-center himself and not cost himself too much ground, but Zuzilao has just hit the lane rope, and that's cost him half a body length over Henry Herbst, but Herbst is now heading over to the rope again. Oh, Herbst has hit the lane rope hard. He's going to get away with it. It's
a decent time in the end for Henrik Herbst, and Mashenko it was in 2nd position, and in 3rd position it looks like Zuzilao just recovered there, the young man in the centre. It was all very close again at the end, wasn't it?
Well, Zalewski came in 4th. Here we go. Look, you see he hits one lane rope, decides to correct, and as we see so often with the directional swimming of S11, they tend to overcorrect and then go straight over to the other lane rope and hit that. Well, the finish in the end was okay. The time was a good one. And it just goes to show you, if you can get that directional bit right, you can often there's often a personal best time or a record just in getting that bit right.
Well, only 0.3 of a second outside his personal best time there from Henry Herbst. And as these goggles are checked, there is the winner of that previous heat, Henry Herbst. Those goggles checked, they look okay. And the result is confirmed there, 27.36. That will be the fastest there. It was another tight finish. Maschenko, Sudzilau, very close there, 27.92 and 28.06. And progressing to the final, Herbst will be top of the tree there, 27.36. And the swimmers there, Smurka just made that in there in 8th position. He'll be pleased with that one.
Well, there's one of the Swedish tappers, the blonde hair. Well, deep in contemplation. Tappers, there's probably almost as much pressure on them as there is on the swimmers themselves.
Have you ever done any tapping in races, James?
You've got to be joking, haven't you? Someone as clumsy as me being allowed to tap someone coming in.
Oh yeah, I've done it a couple of times. It is, as you say, pressure.
It is pressure.
Fortunately, I was with a very experienced swimmer when I was doing the tapping, so she knew what she was doing. But,
well, interestingly enough, in this first heat, Paul, Maja Reichard of Sweden, well, last year at the World Championships, she was swimming against Mary Fisher from New Zealand. And they clashed arms during the race, do you remember?
Yeah.
And they, now, for my money, I keep saying for my money, but...
which is substantial.
But I thought that Maja Reichard was really hard done by because they had to swim the race again because they hit arms, but really, it didn't cause Mary Fisher any loss in speed. Anyway, she's a class act in this heat, and exactly the same with the men. Completely blind class. Important to be quick off the start, but more important, I maintain that, more important is that you manage to come off in a straight line off the block.
Let's have a look here.
Well,
See if they
Reichard's got it absolutely spot on. Well, next to her in lane 3, Bades of Argentina went straight over and clonked the lane rope. Reichard now, well, if she can maintain just that, traversing the lane rope, she's hit it again.
Struggling to get off that lane rope, Maja Reichard from Sweden. She is going to hold on to this one though. It is going to be lane 4, Podubna going well in lane 5. 31.83 for Maja Reichard, 33.43 for Podubna. Maja Reichard will be satisfied with that one. In fact, it's 3/100ths faster than her entry time, and it was a good start, wasn't it? In the centre of the lane there, just veered over as she kind of got around about halfway, but
Right,
managed
well,
to maintain that.
The tap at the end was good for Maja Reichard. Watch this. Here goes the tap, and she gets it, boom, right on the extension.
Reichard takes that first heat, 31.83. Podubna in second, Bereshna in third position. Goggles still to be checked, of course, so those results will not be official just yet. But Reichard, as it stands, in pole position.
Well,
Talking about
just behind the graphic, you can just see just to the right of the graphic in the orange T-shirt is the Dutch tapper for Lisette Bruinsma, and the tapping stick, well, it must be at least 5 meters long. Now,
there is Lisette Bruinsma there.
Bruinsma had an absolute shocker with the tapping yesterday in the 400 freestyle. Missed 3 turns?
Well,
two definitely. one
she was too far away, one she was too close.
one catastrophically. In the end, she was so good that she went on to win it. But, well, Cecilia Camellini of Italy in lane number 5. Very close to her on paper.
Camellini, the world record holder, of course, but this young swimmer, 2 15-year-olds in this one, side by side. Elizabeth Agel and Lisette Bronsma. Agel in lane number 3 in that pink cap. Bronsma in lane number 4.
Oh, good start from Brownsma. Straight up in the centre of the lane, starting to drift a little bit now, but still central. Camellini also going well, but Brownsma, look at that. She's managing to sort of sense where the lane rope is. Camellini now veering across the lane, but she's centered herself up. It is going to come down to the tap, and the Dutch haven't had a good tapping record here with Brownsma.
Oh, very close
well,
there.
There we go. Camellini, 31.69.
Well, I don't know, Charles, because I think Brownsma missed the pad there. If you just look at the lanes, the pads do not go all the way across the lanes. There is a little bit of a gap where the lane ropes go in, and I think Brownsma, there you see
just
it?
There, you can see the gap.
And I think Brownsma missed the pad completely. Now, that doesn't mean much because they will have backup times, but we will have to wait for that backup time from the officials before we get the official result. If we just see the finish there, Camellini, well, it's listed as winning that heat. Not sure if she did there. I'm just waiting to see the replay of that at the end for Brownsma. But Brownsma there, just sort of feeling the water, the hand going in. It's as if she's
almost
trying to touch, feel where that water is.
There we go. Oh, hands almost kind of skim off the water. Here it comes right inside. Oh, and she clatters the lane rope with the opposite hand.
Yeah.
Well, we don't often
miss that pad there.
Yeah.
The result, well, we see it now on the scoreboard here. It is the backup time. And she has won that by 1/100th of a second, 31.68 and 31.69 for Camellini.
Oh, it's going to be a great final, that one, isn't it?
There we go. The result is confirmed. The goggles have been checked. 31.68, 31.69. Brownsma and Camellini will come up against each other again in the final. That will be an excellent final. From the S11s, we go on to the SB14s. This is for swimmers with an intellectual impairment. And a couple of big names there in the centre. Scott Quinn, he had a great swim in the British trials for Rio last week. Swimming a personal best time. Next to him, Adam Venom from Norway. And these are the only two swimmers with entry times under the 110 mark. Aaron Moores, who swam against Scott Quinn just last week, set a new world record. And took the record away from Mark Avers, who goes in heat number 2. We'll see what Scott Quinn can do in this one. He will be the favourite to take this SB14 heat.
Oh, great underwater section in lane number 3 there from Sverrisson of Iceland, but Scott Quinn already taken back that ground. Scott Quinn, you've got to say, looks in really good shape at the moment.
He certainly does, Scott Quinn. He is, as I said, on his best form, the form of his life. Made the qualification standard for the GB team for Rio last week, and he comes out just a little bit of a stutter on the turn there. The other two caught them up, but Scott Quinn with 1 second advantage there over Venom, over Sverrisson, and it looks like Scott Quinn is coming home to win this one. But Venom giving him a little bit of a challenge, Giles, as he comes in to the last 15 metres. It does look like Scott Quinn, though, is going to take this one. Keep an eye on the clock, see if he can dip under the 107 mark again. Very close, just over 107.45 for Scott Quinn, and that equals his previous best prior to his swim last week when he went 106.97. So consistent stuff from Scott Quinn. He wins that heat.
Well, he did. The turn, he kind of turned, when you turn on breaststroke, you're basically trying to bunch yourself up into a ball, spin yourself round and head off in the other direction. And he kind of turned with his head before his body turned, and he, that could have cost him sort of half a second, maybe not that much, but a little bit of time that he could find there quite easily. Well, there's the start for you, and it pops up very, very high breaststroke style that he has. Well, there's a turn. It's a bit murky, but you get the general idea. Here he comes, Scott Quinn of Great Britain into the finish. Hand shoot out in front, perfect finish. Doesn't get any better than that. No glide at all. Well, that's around his best, isn't it, Paul? 107.45.
Yeah, just half a second short of his best time that he swam last week.
In fact, actually, it's exactly on his entry time.
It is. That was his personal best prior to his swim at the GB Trials. It's coached, of course, by GB Olympic swimmer Chris Gilchrist in Edinburgh. So I'm sure they'll all be watching back home. His family are here, of course, Scott Quinn. And this man will also have a lot of support as well, and that's Mark Avers, the former world record holder. And next to him is Artem Pavlenko, the Paralympic Games silver medalist from Russia.
In lane 6 is Tom Hamer of Great Britain. Closest to a camera there of the leading pack. 200 freestyle European champion, but well, leading this out in lane number 4 is Mark Avers of the Netherlands. There we go. Quick round the wall is Avers, and good in the underwater section, as is Artem Pavlenko. Nearest us in the black hat of Russia. Going well in the outside, Mikhail Kuliabin of Russia. But I don't think he's going to challenge the two leaders for the first place home spot.
Pavlenko now maybe just starting to edge it. Avers trying to fight back here. Pavlenko, look, I think he might just take this one from Avers. Oh, on the finish, dives for it, and it's 109.15. It is significantly slower than the first heat. Mark Avers in second position, 109.61. Kuliabin continues his good form this week. You've seen him swim very well. 111.42 for third position in that heat. Coming up almost together, those two very similar styles. Mark Avers and Artem Pavlenko. Well, they have competed against each other many times over the past 3 or 4 years. Mark Avers, sure, will be able to go faster this evening. He has been significantly faster in the past, but Pavlenko on this occasion takes that heat number 2. Mark Avers in second and Kuliabin in third. And they will be behind Scott Quinn going into the final. 107.45 for the GB swimmer. Pavlenko in second, Avers in third.
Well, there's the first heat of the final event of this morning session. And closest to us, Eva Corantado Tejeda of Spain. She'll lead them out, but will be in lane number 7. There's the lineup for you. Breaststroke SB7. Alonso Morales, by far the quickest on paper in this heat. There's Jessica Jane Applegate of Great Britain in lane number 3. Oh, wow. It's going to have to be something quite incredible for any of the ladies in this heat to get the better of Alonso Morales. In the next heat, Bethany Firth from Great Britain. Probably the only match for Alonso Morales, Paul.
Well, interestingly, Alonso Morales and Bethany Firth, they came up against each other last week at the British International, both dipping under the world record time, which was previously held by Bethany Firth. And it was a new record time for Alonso Morales, who won that tussle on that occasion. We shall see if they will renew that rivalry in the final. Alonso Morales was absolutely superb, and she went through breaking that record in the final British International last week, and she's gone away very fast again here. Very close for second position, but it does look like Alonso Morales has got this one in the bag already. Look at that lead as they come into the 50-metre mark.
Well, she really is in a class of her own in this heat. And as we see very often in S14 swimming, very little in the way of tactics. Slow swimming, cruising in the heat, tend to just hear the gun and go flat out from the gun. And it always gives us a very good indication of what we can expect later on in the final. But she's doing well here, Paul, to maintain the same stroke turnover that she went out with. It's all very even paced.
It's very, very good time indeed. Just keep a close eye on the clock. It's just going to slip by, I think, but it's a decent time for Alonso Morales, 1:14.69. Not bad at all. Very close for second, Jessica Jane Applegate getting in there ahead of Lindberg of Sweden. And it looks like Indriani from Indonesia in 4th position. So, good swim there, Alonso Morales, in a class of her own in that heat, certainly.
Well, there, look, you see, very much employing that breaststroke technique where the hands never really come together. They shoot forward separately and are almost working independently. But look at that, streamlining one hand on top of the other before into the underwater pull, the butterfly kick. She then bursts through the surface. And really that, well, we spoke about it earlier in the morning, that 3-point breaststroke where the pull back of the arms is providing power, the leg kick is providing the power, but also the third bit, which is filling in the gap, if you like, before the glide, is the arms shooting forward. And if you throw those arms hard enough forward, you can use that as a way of generating propulsion. Well, on to the next heat, final heat of this morning's session. Similar in time constitution to the first heat. At this time, we expect Bethany Firth to be well out in front. Couldn't land yesterday because of high winds at the airport. Missed the event that she was supposed to be swimming in. Handed it really to this lady, Valeria Shabalina.
Well, this Bethany Firth, of course, has been formerly an Irish swimmer, now competing for Great Britain. Said she didn't manage to make her event yesterday, so she's been affiliated to Great Britain for 3 years now, but this is her debut swim as a Great Britain internationalist, incredibly. Missed the World Championships last year because of injury, and finally, after seemingly waiting forever, Bethany Firth finally competing for Great Britain on the international stage. She will.
She got an amazing start there. The height she got on her dive. Well, and here we go. Superb breaststroke swimming from Bethany Firth. Lovely, flowing, almost a dolphin action to it. Butterfly, of course, coming out of breaststroke originally in the 50s, and breaststroke really still having those same, sharing those characteristics with the butterfly stroke as she comes now to the turn. And it's not bad round the wall. She could have been quicker in rotation. The head went round before the body and it wasn't as bunched up as it could be, but well, it's not going to make any difference to the final outcome. Also going fairly well in the blue hat is Valeria Shabalina. It'll be interesting to see how much she can hang on to Bethany Firth into his final 25 metres, Paul.
Yeah, Firth was slightly slower than Alonso Morales in the first heat. Let's see if she can come back slightly faster. 1:14.69 is the time for Alonso Morales in the first heat. It's going to be pretty similar, maybe just a little bit slower. 1:16.08 for Bethany Firth. Shabalina in second position in that heat. Kroeva in third position. So Bethany Firth, comfortable winner in that particular heat. She is going to be second into the final, behind Michelle Alonso Morales. But reasonable swim there, morning swim. She just, as you said, Giles, arrived in Madeira yesterday. Hasn't had much time for preparation. She'll be pleased with that morning swim.
Well, she will indeed. Here we go, just seeing some montage shots. There's the turn. Very open turn. Could have rotated quicker in that. Gets the finish pretty much bang on.
So, of that second heat, 1:16.08 for Bethany Firth, Shabalina and Kroeva, the two Russians in second and third position. Bethany Firth will go into the final in second position, behind Michelle Alonso Morales. Two Russians in third and fourth position as they go into the final session this evening. Well, thank you, Giles, for your company this morning. Some cracking races, some good swims, some surprises as well. But we will come back to you later on this evening for the finals. The final session starts here in Funchal, local time 1700 hours. Please join us later on for the finals of day 4 of this IPC Open European Championships 2016. It's been a great morning. We look forward to another great night of finals. We'll see you at 1700 hours local time here in Funchal. Have a good afternoon.